An Indian netizen asked me, "How do you evaluate ISRO's docking in space when you look down on Indian technology?" I really don't know how to respond to the strange questions of Indians. I originally thought that such arrogant and ignorant people were not worth responding to, until I saw the news of Paki Sharma boasting that India would become a member of the Space Elite Club by relying on this space docking mission. To be honest, every time I hear the word club, I will think of India. What kind of economic power club, nuclear weapon country club, independent research and development fighter club, etc., are all the glory that Indians are proud of. Indians have a surprising obsession with the word club. There must be some small-scale organizations in this world, called clubs. Members who join it are plotting plans to dominate the world in some mysterious corner, while members outside the club are the objects of domination. India is an important country that dominates the future of mankind. It is the king of the club. In fact, among all G20 countries, India's per capita GDP is the lowest, and India's industrial level is even far lower than Vietnam, let alone being compared with China, the United States, Europe, and Japan. As a member of the G20, Indonesia's GDP per capita is twice that of India. Its high-speed rail is already in operation, while Indians are still bragging about the Bharat Express, which has a speed of less than half that of Indonesia's high-speed rail. I don't know what strange devices are in their heads. Few of the world's major powers regard India as an economic power, except for the Western media praising India's huge potential when they need to belittle China. India has no sense of existence in the world economy. The United States has the most Fortune 500 companies, followed by China, with 130 to 140 companies each, with a slight fluctuation every year, while India has less than 10 companies. India has no software or hardware products that can be shown off in the world so far, not even a world-class company. Among all the nuclear countries, the United States, Russia, China, Britain, and France are all countries with triad nuclear strike capabilities, long-range intercontinental ballistic missiles, and have successfully exploded high-yield hydrogen bombs. Among them, only the United States, Russia, and China have long-range strategic bombers. The only stealth strategic bombers are the United States B-2, the B-21 under development, and China's H-20, which has successfully flown. In contrast, the explosive equivalent of the hydrogen bomb claimed by India is only equivalent to the atomic bomb exploded by the United States during World War II, and the level of other nuclear weapons explosions is not as good as that of North Korea. India's ballistic missiles not only have insufficient range, but also have poor stability. They once lost their targets after launch and fell into neighboring countries, becoming a global joke. India's nuclear weapons have not been fully tested for miniaturization and weaponization, and have no deterrent capability at all. India is not like nuclear powers such as China, Russia, and the United States, which have mature mid-course anti-missile capabilities. Nor does it have its own global satellite positioning and navigation system, so the United States, Russia, and China have never taken India seriously. Among all the countries that independently develop fighter jets, the United States, Russia, China, Britain, and France have independent aircraft engines, radars, fire control systems, and air-launched missiles. Even Japan, South Korea, and Israel have the ability to make their own main core components. The Tejas fighter jet independently developed by India not only has poor performance, but has not been mass-produced after decades of development. Its core components, engines, radars, etc. are all from abroad, and the Indians just built a shell. There are countless examples like this. India's so-called domestically produced aircraft carriers, Arjun tanks, and Arihant nuclear submarines are all objects of ridicule by the world's major powers. If there is a club in the world called the Bragging Club, then India must be the champion. If there is a club called the Beggars Club, then India should be the king. Every time I hear arrogant Indians bragging about their technological level on the internet, I can't help but want to make a video to satirize them. The so-called Great Space Docking mission of ISRO this time is that the Indians launched 2 satellites into space and prepared to complete the contact in space. This has not yet been achieved, and the Indians are bragging about joining the Space Elite Club. I hope that this club will be managed by India, and China does not need to join it. I don't understand why ISRO has to use 2 satellites to demonstrate space docking technology. This is completely against scientific common sense. As early as 2011, China completed its first space docking. At that time, China's Shenzhou 8 spacecraft and Tiangong 1 space station completed space docking. This was a real docking with practical significance, not so boring with 2 satellites contacting each other in space. Before that, the United States and Russia had already completed many space dockings. Today, India's low-level space contact is not worth mentioning in the eyes of a real space power. China's space station has been in operation for many years, and astronauts are stationed in space. A few days ago, Chinese astronauts walked in space for 9 hours, breaking the record held by the United States. I don't understand why Indians ask me what I think of ISRO in the comment section of my video. What can I think? An arrogant organization that often makes false claims and brags about exploring Mars, but dares not even send astronauts into space. Indians boasted that they had mastered spacecraft technology more than a decade ago, but manned spaceflight has been repeatedly delayed. Why? Because throwing 2 pieces of space junk to Mars or the Moon, no one knows whether it will succeed or not. But if you want to send astronauts into space, real technology is needed. If there is a mistake, the whole world will watch India's space funeral live. I ask those Indian netizens who are ready to scold me to calm down and use your brains to think about it. Which is more difficult, exploring Mars tens of millions of kilometers away or sending astronauts to a low Earth orbit hundreds of kilometers away? Just like I questioned your domestic fighter jets and domestic aircraft carriers, my question is very simple. Your rifles and other light weapons need to be imported. How can you independently develop advanced fighter jets and aircraft carriers? Please use logic to refute my point of view and stop making low IQ remarks. To truly gain the respect of other countries, you must reduce our high-sounding talk. From now on, make long-term plans, work hard, develop basic sciences, cultivate pragmatic engineers, develop basic industries, and complete the predetermined goals step by step. Don't brag when you don't have the ability, because this will only be ruthlessly ridiculed by other countries in the world and will not bring any honor. If India can bring back lunar soil from the Moon like China, have an independent space station, and Indian astronauts can also conduct 9-hour spacewalks, are you still worried about being slandered by my video? You get angry when you see my video. Isn't it because my video pokes your pain points and bursts your bubble of fantasy? I am a person who likes to satirize others, but I happen to be a Chinese. So when you criticize me, don't blame China. I can't represent China, just like you can't represent India. Not all Chinese have a big mouth like me, and not all Indians are as ignorant and vain as you.